Hello guys, today we're looking at the Marvel Legends, Marvel Studios, the first 10 years, Ant-Man and Yellowjacket figures. These figures retail for $49.99 as a set and do not include any Build-A-Figure parts or anything. So what you see here is what you get inside the pack. You also get a box, but I'm a loose collector, so that means nothing to me. Here's what you get. So these figures are at the $25 price point, and the real question is, do they stand up to it? Well, let's see. We'll start off with the newer figure here, which is of course Yellowjacket. Yellowjacket is a brand new figure. He includes two accessories, his backpack, and his little mini version of himself, which I'll bring up here. And this mini version of himself is just a straight repaint of the figure that was originally included with the Ultron series Ant-Man. Ultron series on the left, new figure on the right. New figure obviously has a better paint job, more accurate to the figure, which is nice. But now on to the actual Ant-Man figure himself. Take the backpack off so we can see the articulation on the figure itself here. The figure comes with all the articulation you've come to expect. Ball jointed head, ball jointed shoulders, swivel bicep, double jointed elbow, ball jointed wrist, ab crunch, which is a really nice feeling ab crunch. It rocks back and forth really nicely. It's not too loose, not too tough. Swivel torso, ball jointed hip, double jointed knee, and then finally your rocker ankle. No boot articulation or anything like that. Oh, you also have a swivel on the thigh, my bad. It just was slightly lower than we're used to, so I missed it at first. But it is nice. It's really well hidden. And my only really complaint about articulation is that for whatever reason, the crotch looks off, like they smoothed over the thighs too much. Like they just come off to round points rather than any folds or divots in the cloth. And now we'll look at the articulation of the backpack here, which the backpack has a decent bit of articulation actually. So here's the backpack, connects onto Yellowjacket's back quite nicely, which I'll perform here in just a minute. But we can look at the articulation first. We first have two ball joints here that allow these two arms, I'll call them, stingers, tasers, whatever you wish to call them, two ball joints there. Then on the bottom we have another ball joint at the base, a simple swivel right beyond that, then one more ball joint. Mind you, there is no articulation from this point on in the arm. So, and I'll get to a point that I want to make once we put this on, you'll realize that he can do quite a bit with his backpack. It's decent, but I want to bring this up now. Here's how his miniature self is formed. When I first got this pack, I really wanted to set up the miniatures fighting and then have the two in the exact same pose as that. But if you'd like to notice, he can't really make out that pose since his arms don't come out straight. They always have this curve to them. So that's kind of unfortunate that we didn't get just one more point of articulation, possibly right here in this yellow divot or the next yellow divot. One of the two would have been really nice and would have made the figure really well articulated and really displayable. But unfortunately we don't get that. We do get though a very clean, nice figure. The paint jobs are really crisp on this. The yellow actually has a bit of a shine to it. It's a really nice metallic yellow, but it doesn't quite reach gold. It's just really, really well done on this figure. And here's the Masthead. Unfortunately we don't get, Unfortunately we don't get a removable helmet with this guy, but really I don't think his character was too important without the helmet. It really didn't warrant it. I would have liked maybe a few, it would have been nice to get another one of these guys so he had a few more poses, or the extra articulation in the backpack. And then of course the very bottom of the list would have been the extra head sculpt. But we still get a very nice figure with very good articulation, really solid joints, nothing's too loose or anything, so you really won't have a problem displaying him as long as you wish to work within the confines of his articulation. Now on to the second figure of this pack. Ant-Man, Paul Rudd here. And Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, is a repaint almost entirely aside from two parts, and that would be both head sculpts. Both head sculpts are completely new, and I'll show you what they're based on. We'll put Yellowjacket to the side here, move his dude. And as you can see, they are both just it's essentially just a repaint of the Ultron series Ant-Man on the right, 2-pack on the left. And as you can tell, paint job is a lot crisper. For whatever reason, they did dry brushing on the old one, when in actuality the gauntlets should all have been silver. Same for the helmet. They dry brushed it, made it look all dirty and damaged, which it was kind of disheveled in the film, but it wasn't to that degree in which I painted it. Sorry for the cut there. What I was saying is that the new figure just brings out a much cleaner paint job, to really bring out life of the sculpt. The old figure had a really good sculpt underneath, but unfortunately the paint job kind of ruined it, I want to say. The blacks were a lot more gray than they should have been, the reds were not nearly as vivid. It was really just a dulled down figure. One thing I do want to take note of while we're looking at the back of the figures is my little tube behind his neck here, compared to the Ultron one on the right, mine on the left, Ultron one, the tube right here, right below his neck, mine came extremely bent. Like, this is at me after like trying to push it back into position for like 20 minutes, well not that long, but a good bit of time. You can compare that to the Ultron one, so I'm not sure if this is a common problem, should you just get the bar bent or whatever, but definitely watch out for it as it is slightly annoying. But anyways, this figure is a welcome repaint considering the Ant-Man Ultron Wave 1 was going for a good bit on the aftermarket, but I believe now the prices has come down. And one more part of the Ultron Wave figure that I borrowed is unfortunately the mini Ant-Man. We have the new one on the left, old one on the right. And rather than give him in an actual fighting pose, we get him in his riding Antony pose. Antony coming from the Ultron Wave figure as well. So it's pretty unfortunate that we didn't get a newly sculpted Ant-Man, as this one can't really stand on its own. Which, I mean, the Yellowjacket has difficulty standing as well, but it doesn't really look like he's fighting at all. It kind of just looks like he's trying to sit or squat or use the restroom. Yeah, so really not the best. Ant-Man, though, features all the same articulation as the last sculpt, which is ball-jointed head, ball-jointed shoulder, swivel bicep, double-jointed elbow, ball-jointed wrist, there we go, ab crunch, which... Okay, there we go. An ab crunch that was extremely difficult to pop. I didn't realize that I hadn't popped it yet, so it was just stuck. Okay. So be wary of trying to access your ab crunch. Swivel waist, ball jointed hip, swivel thigh, double jointed knee, and rocker ankle. And everything is on par with the Yellowjacket figure, though the ab crunch is nowhere near as nice and lenient as the Yellowjacket. But really the true reason you're getting this figure, well, first off, the only reason you're getting this figure is because it happened to be packaged with a brand new Yellowjacket. Turns out you're getting this figure as well, though, and it features a nice, newly painted head sculpt, which they do a good job on Paul Rudd here, but I still think the face is a little tall and a little big compared to the actor and the size of the body here. Just like the Cole Obsidian Wave figure, it features all the same issues, but overall is decent. It's not nearly as good as any of the other heads we got in this line, so that's rather unfortunate. And then finally he comes with an interchangeable head. And we'll put Yellowjacket back up just for background here. And this interchangeable head is very nice, and it features the mouth breather portion on, compared to the Ultron Wave figure, in which you obviously get to see Paul Rudd's mouth, and the eyes are more proper red, and just overall a nicer, more accurate head sculpt. And you also get these antennas sculpted very nicely. They're really thin plastic, so I'm sure they will break if you deal with them enough, but they're really nice. Like, they don't feel like they're immediately going to break. They're made it somewhat rubbery, but probably more likely to break than the last one. There's the side of the helmet. And overall, this figure just does much better, corrects all the problems that the original figure had. But it would have been nice had we gotten a more accurate Ant-Man head sculpt, and then, of course, a little better of a pack-in figure as well, meaning the little micro-sized one, since you can't really pose these guys to fight. Maybe making their feet a little bigger, or giving them just some ability to stand. Like, I'm sure Yellowjacket here could stand given enough time and enough patience, that of which I do not have. But Ant-Man, you're never going to get him to stand. He's completely thrown off weight-wise as he's in a sitting position. So really, Ant-Man comes with 3 accessories, 2 of them being his head, 1 being his micro-me, and Yellowjacket really just 2, but his backpack is quite nice. And I'm going to rate this pack just barely an 8. I think the inclusion of the Yellowjacket figure is really nice. They did a really good job on the backpack. They didn't do amazing. And Ant-Man, they corrected a lot of issues with the last one, and really made it for a better, nicer figure, and didn't make it so people had to buy the Ultron one on this aftermarket. I will say that that's a really soft 8. It's almost a 7 on this pack just because of the price point. Said it in my other reviews, I'll say it again here. I don't quite know if these figures warrant the $25 price point. They seem to be on par with the Build-A-Figures, and they don't include a Build-A-Figure piece. They just include themselves. So they're more expensive, no Build-A-Figure piece, and yet they don't quite stack up. I really wish we could get some really nice figures with a lot of good accessories, and we have gotten one pack so far, but really I don't think any other pack that I've looked at has really come up to that. But anyways, this 2-pack is really nice. If you want a Yellowjacket, definitely pick it up. I don't know if this has quite hit stores yet. I know Hasbro Toy Shop has it in stock last time I checked. So if you can get it from there, definitely pick it up. It's a very nice set. That $50 price point just kind of hurts, given the figures aren't amazing. Thanks for watching.